Welcome back to another Throne and Liberty guide. If you've been following my rune guides, you already know how important they are for boosting your combat power and optimizing your build. But knowing how to use runes is only half the battle. You still need to get them first. I'm Dums, and in this video, I'll show you every way to get runes in Throne and Liberty. Whether you want to farm them efficiently, grab them from world bosses, or craft your own, this guide has you covered. But before we get into it, if you haven't watched my rune guide yet, check the link in the description and save it for later. It covers rune types, leveling, and synergy, so you can fully maximize your setup. By the end of this guide, you'll know exactly where to look, which activities to focus on, and how to consistently farm runes to power up your build. Now, let's start with one of the easiest ways to get runes, the Battle Pass. Press Escape to open your main menu, then click on Battle Pass. On the right, you'll see a list of daily and weekly activities that reward you with crystals once completed. For example, one of the daily missions requires you to dissolve 3 pieces of equipment at common or higher tier. Once you complete it, just hit Claim, and you'll receive your crystals. After stacking up enough crystals, head over to the Battle Pass shop. Scroll down until you find the rune category selection chests available for purchase. When you open one, you'll be able to choose a specific rune type. If you want to see the possible rune rewards before making your selection, click on the magnifying glass icon to view the full drop list. Once you select your rune chance chest and open it, the rune will be automatically added to your inventory under the Runes tab. Now that we've covered the Battle Pass, let's move on to another consistent way to earn runes, weekly missions. Press Escape to open your main menu, then click on Weekly Missions. You'll see 4 categories, but we're focusing on the co-op dungeon category. This section has 3 objectives, and completing them will unlock valuable rune rewards. The first objective is straightforward. You need to use dimensional contract tokens. This means running Tier 1 and Tier 2 dungeons and opening the final chest after defeating the boss. Dimensional trials also consume dimensional contract tokens, so completing them counts toward this objective as well. The next 2 objectives require you to complete a certain number of dimensional trials. I'll go over dimensional trials in more detail later, but for now, focus on clearing all 3 objectives before the weekly reset. Once the week ends, you'll be able to unlock the question mark reward slots. Click on each question mark, and you'll see the available weekly reward. If you click on the percentage icon, you can check the drop rates for each reward before claiming. The third objective offers the best rewards, so let's select it and claim it now. Another great way to get runes is by participating in dynamic events. Open your map and click on the timetable on the left-hand side. Here, you'll find a list of upcoming events and open world bosses. If you select an event or a world boss, you'll see that one of the performance rewards is a rune chance bundle. Now, let's see this in action. Here, I'm taking part in the Requiem of Light event. After completing the objective and finishing the event, I receive runes from the Rune Chance bundle, which are automatically added to my rune inventory. The same applies to open world bosses. Once the boss is down, runes are instantly added to your inventory as part of the reward. If you're part of a guild, there's another way to earn runes. Finishing weekly guild raid bosses will also reward you with runes, making it a great option for consistent rune farming. With events, world bosses, and guild raids, consistent participation is key. The more you engage, the more runes you'll collect over time. But that's not all. Even open-world dungeons now have a chance to drop runes. Dungeons like Celius's Abyss can reward runes when you defeat enemies and bosses. This makes them another great option for farming runes while earning other valuable loot. But getting runes is only part of the process. Managing them efficiently is just as important. If you've been farming runes through these activities, Your rune inventory is probably filling up fast. By now, you've likely collected a fair number of runes. But what should you do with the ones you don't need? More specifically, what about common and uncommon runes? You have two choices. Either you dissolve them, which breaks the rune down into rune fragments. I'll explain that in a bit. Or you can transmute them through the material transmutation menu. Essentially, transmutation lets you sacrifice runes, harness their power, and transform them into something potentially better. So, how do you actually do it? Let's go over rune material transmutation step by step. Hit Escape to open your main menu. Select Material Transmutation and click on the Rune tab. Now, you'll see the transmutation interface, which allows you to convert unwanted runes into new ones. On the left-hand side, you'll see the conversion tier and point system. Every rune you add contributes conversion points, which are displayed here. The higher the tier of the runes you sacrifice, the more points you generate. In order to start the transmutation, you need to reach the required conversion tier before you can proceed. Below the conversion tier gauge, you'll see the expected rewards. These change depending on what you choose to transmute into. There are 4 transmutation options. If you click on the percentage icon next to the expected tier reward, you'll see the drop rates for each item, showing the exact percentage chance of receiving a specific rune. In this same panel, at the top, you can see that conversions come in 4 tiers, with Tier 4 providing the best rewards. So, how do you reach Tier 4? Let's go through an example. Let's start adding runes. Now, we have enough points to transmute, but if we do, we'll only get a Tier 1 conversion reward. Instead, we're going to hit Convert Points. This will still sacrifice the runes, but you'll keep the points. From here, keep adding more runes and converting them into points until you reach Conversion Tier 4. Once you're at Tier 4, that's when you should transmute to get the best possible reward. But what if you're looking for a more direct way to get the runes you need? It's time to talk about crafting runes. Earlier, I mentioned that dissolving a rune gives you rune fragments. Now, let's go over exactly what those fragments do. Rune fragments are essential for crafting rune chance chests, which can contain valuable runes. But wait, don't go dissolving runes just yet. Transmuting runes also rewards you with rune fragments, meaning you can optimize your rune management by making the most of both systems. Now, let's go over how to craft runes step by step. Teleport to Stoneguard Castle and head over to the Master Craftsman section. Here, you have 2 choices. The first option is to visit the Weaponsmith, where you can craft rune chance chests using rune fragments and rare polished crystals. The second option is to visit the other crafters, who offer the same crafting option, but instead of polished crystals, you'll need different rare ores depending on the type of rune you want. If you want to craft support rune chance chests, you'll need rare emerald ore. If you want defense rune chance chests, you'll need rare Stalin ore. Finally, if you're crafting attack rune chance chests, you'll need rare rubrics ore. Now, here's a pro tip. If you click on the alternate item icon, you can select rare rubrics. If you don't have any, you can simply click Search Auction House and buy it from there. This works for all other ores as well, allowing you to substitute materials as needed. It's a great option if you run out of ore, but have lucent to spare. But crafting isn't the only way to get runes. If you're looking for a highly effective method to farm them consistently, it's time to talk about dimensional trials. While events and world bosses are great for rune farming, dimensional trials offer a structured and reliable way to earn rune rewards. So, let's check them out. Open your main menu, go to Co-op Dungeon, then select the second tab, Dimensional Trial. At first glance, this might seem overwhelming, So let's break it down step by step. Dimensional trials rotate weekly. Each week, 2 different Tier 2 dimensional circle dungeons will be available. To check the schedule, click on the calendar icon. This will show you the current dimensional trials available for the week. If you click the next or previous arrows, you can see what was available last week and what will be available in the following weeks. Now, let's talk about dimensional circle effects. These are modifiers that apply to the trial itself, changing how enemies behave and increasing the challenge as you progress. Each dimensional trial can have up to 5 buffs in total. The first 2 buffs are always the same: increased enemy attack power and increased enemy health. As you increase the trial level, these buffs grow stronger, making enemies hit harder and take more damage before being defeated. Once you reach Tier 5, a 3rd buff is introduced, which adds new and enhanced attack patterns to enemies, making fights more complex. That covers 3 out of the 5 buffs. The final 2 buffs rotate weekly. If you click on the calendar again and use the next arrow, you can preview the 4th and 5th buffs for the upcoming week. The 4th buff activates at Tier 7, and the 5th buff activates at Tier 10. These additional modifiers further change enemy behavior, increasing difficulty, but also potentially altering strategies needed to complete the trial. So, why should you run dimensional trials? Because every time you complete one, you receive a rune chance chest specific to that trial. It's important to note that rune chests are trial specific, meaning different trials drop different rune types. The best rewards start at Tier 4 and Tier 5, so spamming Tier 5 dimensional trials gives you the best return in runes. But how do you actually enter a dimensional trial? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Unfortunately, there is no party matchmaking for dimensional trials. That means it's back to the good old days of forming your own party. There are 2 ways to do this: joining an existing party or creating one yourself. If you want to join a party, it's relatively easy. Hit Escape to open the main menu, then select Party Board. Make sure to select Dimensional Trial, which is the 2nd tab. Click on the drop-down arrow to choose any tier you want. It doesn't matter if you have cleared it or not. What's important is that the party leader has access to it. As long as you meet the combat power requirement, you can request to join any available party. Now, if you want to create a party, you'll be capped by the highest tier you have cleared so far. First, you need a party. Open the party board again, but this time, select Post a recruitment ad. Choose Dimensional Trial, then select the trial and the tier you want to run. As mentioned, your tier selection is capped by what you have already cleared. Then, write a party notice, set the minimum combat power requirement, and hit Add. Once the party is full, you need to teleport to Vienta Village and head to the Sanctum, located in the northern part of the village. Once you arrive, simply interact with the circle. Select Dimensional Trial and hit Enter Dimensional Circle. That's everything you need to know about getting, managing, and upgrading runes in Throne and Liberty. Whether you're farming runes from world bosses, crafting them from fragments, or grinding dimensional trials, you now have all the tools you need to power up your character efficiently. I'm Dumbs, and if you found this guide helpful, smash that like button and subscribe to my channel for more Throne and Liberty content. It really helps the channel grow. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions, feedback, or future guide requests. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.